Welcome back, everyone. We will continue with the story from last night. Thank you for the interest. And we begin. Morning comes, and Scott is off to the city as noted last evening on the porch. A full day of recording ahead of him, but he is hoping to get back before all are asleep tonight. This young niece of Rob's interests him. She truly is a breath of fresh air that he needs right now. The rain hasn't let up from last night, and the words Abigail spoke to him come to mind. He stands just outside the apartment entrance and takes a deep breath. That smell. Aroma of nature is her. Suddenly he feels inspired to write a song, which he hasn't felt in a long while. Scott has struggled to write the few he has for his unfinished record. This new song won't be a struggle at all. He attempts to dodge the rain by running to his car at the side of the garage. In the cabin, Abigail is waking with a smile for the first time in many months. She has neglected to tell her cousin about the sore relationship she has just left back in the city. But all that didn't matter now. She is spending time with Scott Wilson. Rob and James have left for work, and Nicole is waking up. Down in the kitchen, Abigail makes herself at home, preparing breakfast for the two of them. Nicole has taken some time off to spend with Abigail. "About time you got up, lazy bones," Abigail teases her. "I heard you. You haven't been up that much longer than me. How late did you stay up last night?" "Don't know. I didn't look at the clock when I came in. Why?" Just asking. Did Scott sit out with you?" Nicole is probing. "Yes, we sat together on the porch. We talked about the rain and country versus city life." She smiles at the thought. "Nice," Nicole says, drawing the word out. Abigail turns to her from the counter. "Come get your breakfast." The rain is coming down a great deal more now than it was last night. The delicate drops are now huge and smack each leaf they contact, but Abigail is still drawn to the porch to enjoy the spectacle. "Why don't you move here, Abby? There's nothing left for you in Toronto. Your mom is overseas now. You should live closer to family." Nicole sips her hot tea. "I'm thinking on it. Moving isn't that easy, Nicole. There is a lot to planning. Like, for instance, where I live and what I do. Well, you could live here with us, and I could get you a job at the shop, or Dad could see if there's anything at his place." "No. I don't want to impose on anyone. Your family, it's not imposing. This is what family does. We want you here with us, with your dad. He really misses you. Your mom could give a shit less where you are." Nicole's anger has gotten away from her tongue. "Oh shit, I didn't mean that, Abigail. I'm sorry." Abigail turns to Nicole. "You did, and that's fine. My relationship with her is non-existent. She cares more for her new family. Her and I have never gotten along because I'm too much like Dad. I wonder sometimes why they got married." She reflects. "Opposites attract," Nicole points out. Later that afternoon, Abigail is up in her room on her laptop, listening to Scott's music. A rush of emotion comes over her, realizing that he is here. It's late night when Scott's car pulls into the driveway. Exiting his car, Rob calls over to him. "Dinner is waiting for you inside. The girls made cabbage rolls this afternoon. Help yourself." "Thanks. I didn't expect to have dinner waiting for me, but since they went to the trouble, I think I'll help myself." Scott follows Rob inside. How did things go in the studio today?" Rob inquires. "Better than yesterday. I was able to I was able to write a couple of new songs for the record. Things are coming together. About another week, and I'll have it done. Rob, I want to thank you for opening up your home to me, and your brother-in-law for offering up his apartment. That's just us. You weren't getting anything done in the hotel room. Nothing to inspire you. True, Scott smiles and takes a bite of the cabbage roll. This is good. Where is everyone? James is staying in town at a buddy's place, and the girls are upstairs listening to you, I believe. Rob laughs, and Scott joins in. The evening goes along. Rob and Scott sit out on the porch talking about life, watching the rain continue to fall. It's around 11 o'clock when the girls decide to sit outside. Good evening, ladies, Rob greets them. Ladies? Where? Abigail jokes. Thank you for the cabbage rolls, Scott says with a nod of his head. You're welcome, Nicole speaks up. Abigail exchanges a shy glance towards Scott that isn't wasted on Nicole. She knows there is an attraction there. Why wouldn't there be? This guy is gorgeous. Well, it's been another enjoyable evening, gang, but this man has work in the morning. Scott, take care, and I hope the inspiration continues. Girls, don't stay up too late. Yes, Dad, Nicole mocks. All this country air has made me tired. I'm hitting the hay if you two don't mind, Nicole says. Scott and Abigail laugh. What did I say? Nicole is confused. Nothing, Abigail responds. Night, cousin. Night, Nicole, Scott says. They take their seats as the night before. Dreary day with the rain. No, actually, I quite like it. It's inspiring, Abigail replies, upbeat. You are different, aren't you? Scott grins. I don't think so. Well, I do, his voice seductively low. Abigail's eyes are saucers for a second with his statement. How many days have I known you now? He asks. I think 4. She thinks about it. Yes, 4. I came here Saturday, and this is Tuesday. In 4 days you have captured my attention. Never had a woman do that so quickly before. I'm honored. She blushes, though he can't see. He hears it in her voice. Abigail senses the warmth of his hand moving towards hers. She is frozen, unsure how to react. Gradually, his hand envelops hers. In that moment, Abigail closes her eyes with a quiet sigh. This is what she dreamed of, and more, for the last few years since becoming interested in Scott's music. You don't mind, do you? He asked. Of course not. She intertwines her small fingers within his larger hand. There is a wave of emotion throughout her body. If he would lean forward and kiss her, this evening would be perfect. They sit together without a word, enjoying each other's company. The intensity between them persists, but Scott does not act on it. He allows the mood to escalate until he is dangerously approaching a point where his control will be overpowered by the necessity to have her. I hate to end the evening, but I've got another early morning, Abigail. He lifts and turns her hand towards him. His hot, tender lips softly contact her skin. Abigail's eyes close, imagining that sensation against her lips. Oh my God, she screams inside her head. She wants to be in his arms, between the sheets of his bed, feeling all he has to offer. I'll see you tomorrow night if that's okay, he inquires. Maybe we can spend some time down by the lake if I get back early enough. I'd like that. Her voice is cautious. It's a date, then. One more kiss of her hand, and he leaves. His words play over in her mind. She had a date with Scott Wilson. She is walking on air tonight. No better feeling in the world. Up in her room, there is a soft knock on the door. Come in, she whispers. Hey, I heard you come in. It's Nicole. What's going on? She's curious. Nothing much. Abigail smiles broadly. Out with it. We held hands, and then he kissed my hand twice before he left. He kissed your hand? What the heck? You have a pair of lips, Nicole says. We have a date tomorrow night at the lake. He couldn't afford to take you somewhere? Nicole is pissed. Nicole, that's fine with me. We had our first conversation at the lake on the dock. It's a special place for us. OMG, you have a special place. Cool. Nicole calms down. So is this going anywhere? I'm not sure yet, but I hope so. I've dreamed about this for a long time and never thought it would actually happen. It is happening, so enjoy it. With that, Nicole is on her way to bed. The day breaks in glorious sunshine. The sky is blue with a light breeze. Another late summer day on the West Coast. The cousins spend their day in the city shopping for clothes. They are back at the cabin before 5 to get dinner started. Homemade pizza tonight. When Nicole's dad arrives home, he is pleasantly greeted with the aroma of tomato sauce and crispy cheese. Something smells delicious, Rob declares, walking into the kitchen. Homemade pizza, made with these 4 hands, Nicole says. Can't wait to taste it. The 3 sit down at the table and relish the fruit of their labor. It's around 7 when the phone rings. Abigail, it's for you, her uncle tells her. She wonders who it could be. Abigail takes the receiver. Hello? Hi, Abigail, it's me. It was Scott at the other end. I'm going to be late. Can you meet me at the gazebo by the lake around 8? Sure thing. With that, she hangs up. It was Scott. He won't be here till 8. They all sit in the living room watching television, while Abigail keeps watch on the slow-moving mantel clock on the fireplace. At 10 to 8, she grabs a sweater and makes her way down to the water. What the heck? She is surprised by lights. Strings of twinkle lights outlining the gazebo. My word, someone's been busy, she says out loud. Leisurely, Scott emerges from the shadows. I have. This is why you're going to be late? She inquires. Yes. He gazes at her. His hand extends. He motions for her to come forward. It's beautiful. Her eyes take in the sight. From his back, Scott presents a single red rose. Without a word, Abigail accepts it with a kiss on his cheek. Scott leads her to the dock where they sit and talk about the other day. It's a gorgeous night, he says. Yes, it is. She takes a seat beside him, dangling her feet in the cool evening water. He does likewise. Nicole and I used to come down here when we were kids to look at the stars. We'd stretch out here for hours. Nicole lays back, indicating what they used to do. Scott lays on his side, gazing at her. How old are you? Scott decides to ask. Same age as Nicole, 23. Why? She's curious. I'm, Scott counts, 7 years older than you. Is that a problem? He asks. No, should it be? She asks. No, is his response. I'm sure there are more stars in the sky now than there were back then. Abigail turns her head toward him. Scott takes this opportunity. His masculine lips tenderly contact hers. So soft. Then another innocent kiss is shared, followed by more. Each kiss begins to satisfy a need within him. Abigail sighs out loud. His kisses are deeper and more fervorless. Stop it! Sorry about that, cats. And as his passion rises, then pulling himself back in fear, he wonders if this is too much too soon. Abigail's left hand reaches out to caress his cheek, and she smiles contently. I felt the moment was right, is all he says, memorizing her features of her face. It's late, sweetie. He called her sweetie. I know you have an early day tomorrow as usual. Yes. Here, take my hand, I'll help you up. She takes his hand offered, and he pulls her up into him. He swipes the blonde hair from her face, cupping her jaw in his hands. I'm growing very fond of you, Abigail, and I don't think I should be. Why? She gazes into his brown eyes. Because my life is quite different from yours. I don't spend much time at home. I'm usually on the road somewhere. So what does that have to do with this moment in time? She reaches on her tiptoes to kiss him. It wouldn't be right to get caught up in something I can't give 100% to. Isn't it a little late to think of that now? She points out. Who says it has to go past this time we have together? Maybe I'm beginning to feel it should, but it's ridiculous in the short of time I've known you. I've never had this happen before. He smiles warmly. Nothing more is... Hang on. Sorry about that. Nothing more is said between the two as they make their way back to the cabin. Abigail speaks of her intention. One night, I'd like you to come back to the cabin and spend the night with me. Scott is taken back by her frankness, but a grin appears on his face quickly. Not now. The time has to be right. I hope it's right before I leave next week, she tells him. It will be. Count on it, he divulges. Abigail feels as though she's floating up the stairs to her room. Everything she has thought he would be, to this point he has surpassed by a hunger she has never experienced before. Her craving for this man is endless. A curious cousin is full of questions the following morning at the breakfast table. So did he kiss you? What was it like? Did you go back to his place? Nicole can't contain herself. First, it's my dad's place. And no, we didn't. Second, yes, he did kiss me. Third, it was amazing. Abigail can't stop smiling. Was it like you thought? Nicole is eager to know. More than what I ever imagined. So much more. He has a seductive way about him that surpasses anything I've ever dreamed about. Abigail thought for a moment. In a way, I feel kind of stupid now. Whatever for? Nicole inquires. I'm just a fan of his. She is coming down to reality. Maybe he sees you more, Abigail, Nicole tells her. Abigail thinks this could all just be a thrill for him. While she's praying, it turns into something more. We'll have to wait and see, cousin. Wait and see. With that, Nicole leaves the room to sit and read for a while. Abigail makes her way back upstairs to sit on her bed for what seems hours, thinking over the events of the evening, enjoying repeating the memory of his touch. She wishes she could be with him now, in his bed, laying beside him, experiencing the warmth of his body by hers, but she isn't. The rest of the day is spent writing. Sleep gradually overtakes her, and her body begins to relax. The morning dawns bright, sunny, but the threat of rain is in the forecast. Abigail is slow to wake and sluggish the rest of the day. The wind has been taken out of her sails, and she has done it to herself. At breakfast that morning, Nicole expresses her concern for Abigail's lack of interest and suggests a day hike through the local woods. What's wrong with you? Nicole prods for an answer. Nothing. I know there damn well is something. Just tell me. Nicole demands of her. I'm just seeing what happened yesterday for what it actually is. A famous person trying to get it on with his fan for a thrill. Abigail tells her, where the fuck did that come from? Did he say that? Nicole is furious. No, it's just how I feel now, having time to think back on it. Maybe your problem is that you've been analyzing a situation that doesn't need to be analyzed. You have to stop doing that. You always do that and come up with the worst outcome. I don't understand why you do that. Nicole is beside herself at this point. Because that way it doesn't hurt as much when the truth comes out. That is why I always do it. I haven't had the boys beating down my door like some people. She glares at her cousin. You're saying I've had boys banging down my door to go out with me. What? Where the hell is this coming from? What did I ever do to you to cause this? It's not you. It's just every girlfriend I've ever had in my life. They are always telling me to think positive, only to be bulldozed over in the end. I hate it. With that, Abigail leaves her plate of food and rushes out the kitchen door. Nicole is left sitting there, wondering what has just happened. None of it makes sense to her at all. She never could have imagined a reaction this severe overnight. She was on cloud 9 last night. Just then Scott walks through the door. And I think we'll leave it at that point. We're at 21 right now. Thank you to my YouTube family for coming by to hear another installment of the story. Anyone new, please check out the previous video if you'd like to hear the beginning of it. Also, while you're here, check out some of my other videos. If there's anything that interests you, please give it a like, comment, share any of them out if you think someone would be interested. That's greatly appreciated. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber. And if you do, click that notification bell so that you'll know the next time that I upload. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great Monday. And as always, ciao for now.